Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org for more info, or you can always email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have Yvonne Stevens Walton Harris. We're going to be discussing her amazing book, Freddie B. My last encounter with the law got me a trip for a 1-year stay at the Department of Corrections facility. Available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. And people, Yvonne was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by some of the best publishers in the business. Author Reputation Press. So if you have a book that you'd like moved, give yourself the best gift you could possibly give and contact ARP. You can find out more information on them at authorreputationpress.com. And people, listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Yvonne here on the line. Now, the moment you go to her Amazon page, you go to her Barnes & Noble page, and you start to do any research on her book, Freddie B, well, you're instantly going to know what we're talking about today. Now, it's a memoir, but it's not a memoir on Yvonne's life specifically. Freddie B, and who we're going to be talking about, the main character in the book, right, is her son, and the journey that he had, and some of the lessons that he had to learn, and unfortunately, some of the potholes he had to hit in order to learn those lessons. Now, the underlying message, even if you can't relate to every single thing that her son had gone through, the underlying message is something that is so true to every life. And that's every action has a reaction. We need to spend more time thinking and really contemplating the consequences of the decisions that we make. Now, those consequences may be positive or they may be negative. But one thing is certain, as I said already, every action that you take has a reaction. We never know how far those ripples will extend when we make any given decision. So I'm very much looking forward to this interview and really all the lessons and words of wisdom that we're going to be able to receive from Yvonne today. And then, of course, the moment you head on over to her Amazon and Barnes & Noble page, the education doesn't stop. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Yvonne, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks, and thanks for the opportunity to discuss my book, Freddie B.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Yvonne, the pleasure is all ours, okay? When this book came across our table, it was a no-brainer. I mean, we knew, based upon the subject matter, based upon the fact that this is something that, again, maybe not everybody listening in right now can relate to every single aspect with regards to your son's journey, but I promise you, there will be a lot of people that can relate. And there'll be a lot of people that understand that underlying message, right? The action has a reaction. And when we put things into perspective that way, it really can harness what we're trying to accomplish, right? It can really clarify things for us. And I love the message that your book stands upon. Now, Yvonne, before we go into the book, let's hold off slightly. Start by telling our listening audience a little bit more about yourself and your background, please.
During my lengthy time working toward my bachelor's degree in general studies at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, I wrote many long, lengthy term papers, and I entered a university-wide contest in which I won a prestigious award. My paper was on Afro-American studies in this university-wide contest. Mm-hmm. And after that, I was influenced to write Freddie B after I had read all the papers he had accumulated about his life and his incarceration. I felt I needed to share this information in order to help others. And that's how I happened to write Freddie B.
Mm-hmm. There you have it. Yvonne, without further ado, let's go in more detail with the book itself and some of the specifics or some of the specific encounters that your son had on his journey. So without further ado, Freddie B, tell us a little bit more about your book.
When Freddie was young, he used to always get in trouble. As a young child, he would get into little fights, stole bikes, stole clothes, would get suspended and expelled from school. And as a teenager, he became affiliated with gang wars, hood wars, jacking, robbing, burglarizing, and he was locked up for short periods of time. Well, the last time he got locked up was at North Central Juvenile Correctional Center in Logansport in Indiana. That's when things changed. They treated him like an adult and made him take full responsibility for his actions. They made him work on his problems and focus on how he would not make the same mistakes again after he got out. Well, at first he went in with a closed mind of not changing. That got him more time in Logansport. And as he continued to get in trouble, his time increased, lasting a full year. But when he was released after the year, his life did a 360-degree turnaround. Nothing had impacted him as much as being locked up for a year. He was able to go to college, get a good job, and continue on doing well in life.
Yvonne, what do you... we know why you felt compelled to write this narrative. And I want to go a little further than that. What are you hoping to see people learn or really understand when they pick up your book and they read from your son's story?
I believe Freddie B will open the eyes of young men and young women. There are consequences to your actions in life. My hope is that this book will continue Freddie's ministry to others. His struggle may help parents realize that no matter how difficult, to break the wall of silence that young people put up when they think their parents don't understand.
People, again, we're here on the line with Yvonne Stevens Walton Harris. We're discussing her amazing book, Freddie B. My last encounter with the law got me a trip for a 1-year stay at a Department of Corrections facility. Yvonne, next question that I'd love to get into, and listen, we know about the book, we know about your intention and what you're hoping people receive from it. I'm curious, it's opposite side of that spectrum. What would you say was a highlight for you in writing the book, or if not a highlight, something that surprised you that maybe you weren't anticipating prior to beginning on this journey?
The book has lots of action, even some romance and adventure. There are several poems in the book that Freddie B wrote. He discusses his poetic destiny, and he tells about the wisdom and knowledge he gained while being locked up at Logansport. These poems express his young black man's perspective on life. My book, Freddie B, has a gold seal of excellence from Author Reputation Press. The book was reviewed in London's book fair in April 2022, in which 14 filmmakers expressed an interest in it. If 10,000 copies of the book are sold within a year, a film could be made. Another review will happen in October 2022 at the Frankfurt, Germany Book Review.
You know, Yvonne, you talked about how your son wrote poetry as well. Do you happen to have any of the poems readily available that you could potentially read for us right now?
Yes. As a young black man, Freddie frequently left the house. He was concerned about being harmed by the police because he had been arrested and in trouble several times. And I feel this poem, Who Am I, he wrote, expresses his ideas about his life and his feelings about women. And I'd like to read it to you. Who am I? In the poem he says, I'm not bad. I'm just misunderstood, unable to be comprehended. I can be soft and gentle, the sweetest thing you'd ever meet. But I can be crooked and real scandalous if you hoes are out to get me. But I'm human and have feelings and make mistakes like everyone else. So why is it when I mess up, you come down so hard on me? Is it because I'm 17, young and black? Or is it because I'm Freddie B? I choose to live my life for me, not for none of you. All you need to know is that I'm Fred B till I die. That's the answer to y'all question. And that's why I named the book Freddie B.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yvonne, what's next for you? I mean, this book is incredible, and we're hoping that there's more on the horizon. Talk to us about what's upcoming, please.
Well, as I said, I was inspired to write this book on the 10th anniversary of the passing of my son after I had read all the papers he had accumulated about his life and his incarceration. And hopefully there will be another inspiration to come along to write a second book in the future.
Yvonne, last question here. You know, being an artist myself, I love having this platform to be able to utilize it, to pay it forward, in a sense, to other artists out there listening, and in this instance, other writers out there listening. Now, I want to take this opportunity, Yvonne. You are someone that has been through the process. You've written your book, you've gotten it published, and hopefully have more on the horizon. So I want to take this opportunity for any new writers out there listening in, someone just starting out. What are some words of wisdom that you can relay to them?
That's a good question. I feel that if you have a strong enough opinion about a subject matter, especially if it would be a help to others, pursue it and write your book.
There you have it. Listen, people, at the end of the day, what she's talking about is just believe in yourself. If you have a desire, if you have a dream, you got to push for it, right? Believe in yourself and bring it to fruition, right? Push through all of the walls, all of the barriers, and you'll watch your dream come through. I absolutely love it. Such a hopeful message to end a wonderful interview. People, listen, I'm going to say it for you again. I know I don't have to, but let's just re-impress it. We're here on the line with Yvonne Stevens Walton Harris. We just finished discussing her impactful book, Freddie B, available for purchase through Amazon as well as BarnesandNoble.com. Do yourself a favor, head on over there and pick up a copy today. A wonderful education for you to receive yourself, for you to receive and go over with your family, with your loved ones, but an even better gift for you to get for someone else's. So head on over there today and pick up your copies. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Yvonne, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you once again for being a guest with us on People of Distinction.
Thank you very much.